welcome. I'm Wizarding Journey, and today we're going to talk about Artist Alley stamp rallies. So you want to start or be in an Artist Alley stamp rally, I heard. So after I have been in multiple stamp rallies and hosted multiple ones myself, I thought that giving you a bit of insight in what it takes to be in a stamp rally or host one, and like the etiquette, that I would post something about that. Where do I start? I want to be in a stamp rally, but I don't know where to start. So first, decide on the fandom. It can be any fandom. I've been in One Piece, Genshin, VTuber, Studio Ghibli, JJK, Bungo Stray Dogs. What else? Way too many. But yeah. So decide what fandom you want to do a stamp rally for. If you are hosting it yourself, make sure that no one else for that convention is doing a, for example, One Piece stamp rally. So just make sure there are no overlaps in fandoms. Obviously VTuber is super easy to have overlaps in, so some people have like specific ones, like a Hololive specific one, VShoujo specific one, indie specific one, right? So in that case it would be fine, but like if it's both of them are One Piece, just try not to have an overlap. There are two ways of you being in the stamp rally. You can join someone's stamp rally when they're posting it on a Discord server, such as AU, Ani, like any of them. They will post it in that specific thread and be like, hey, I am hosting a One Piece stamp rally, is anyone interested? And people will comment and be like, hey, I'm interested, and then you have a stamp rally that way. You're hosting it, you're joining someone. Now on the other hand, you can also host one yourself, which is a lot more work. But you have control over more things. Good things and bad things about hosting your own stamp rally. If you're hosting your own stamp rally, I would say stick to asking mutuals first. If you don't really have mutuals and it's your first time being in an artist alley and stuff like that, you can go into these Discord communities and ask people if they're interested in. I usually ask mutuals first, and then I open it up to a Discord community being like, hey, is anyone interested? I've met really nice people from doing that, people that I call friends now, and yeah. So creating the group if you are hosting yourself. So there are two ways you can do communication. Well, technically three. You can keep it in a server thread, for example in the Ani server. You can create your own group chat, or you can create your own server. Servers, I would suggest if you have a stamp rally that's really big, that is like over 10 people. Obviously, most stamp rallies are 4 to 8 people. I would not go above that unless you're doing like a specific stamp rally for a specific con. For example, TwitchCon. TwitchCon, you can do a community-based stamp rally, so you can have more than those 4 to 8 people in there, right? It just depends on the situation. Servers I would also recommend if you have a lot of mutuals that are into stamp rallies and you have you're hosting a same stamp rally, the same theme over and over again, or same fandom, then you can have people join who are in it, and you have people at the ready who are wanting to join that you already built a connection with. Group chats, I've done this for stamp rallies that I don't really know the people for, so you just create a group chat with everyone, and yeah, it works pretty well. I would recommend group chats. I only done servers once, and that's for a big stamp rally, so just keep that in mind. And I would say when you're creating group chats, it is important to pin all the important messages such as deadlines, polls, drop-up folders, etc., right? So you have a group of people together, you know your theme, now it's time to vote. So what I usually do is create a Google form for people to vote in. I will post a link in the server or group chat and then have tell people, hey, can you vote for this by this date? And most of them will. If some people have not voted yet, that's their loss. They just don't have their say. You can't wait forever. So I usually use Google Form just because it's unbiased that way. Because I used to do it in the past where I added like, oh, this emote or this reaction will mean this many stamp cards and things like that. And then people based it off of other people's reactions. So that's why I like Google Forms. Everyone can put their opinion and not be judged by others. So I would recommend that highly. In these Google Forms, I ask for how many stamp cards, how many prizes, what kind of prize. I also ask sometimes if we want to do a collaborative or individual prizes, as well as if we want to have like a theme within the fandom. For example, for One Piece, Maid Cafe one, right? Yeah, those are some things I put in the Google form. Yeah, so you can ask people in the server or group chat as well if they want to make a theme to that fandom specific stamp rally. I also create a Google Sheet because that's how I get everyone's information. So I'll have in there the person's Discord name, the artist's name that they want to go by on the stamp sheet, their socials, their top 3 characters, which then the host will go through and make sure that there are no overlaps. If there are overlaps, we'll do a randomizer who gets that character. I'll also ask for condition, table number. If they need a stamp, since I have a Silhouette Mint, I can actually print stamps myself. So I asked if someone needs a stamp, and I can do that for them. And I'll also ask for stamp color. A lot of times you don't know what stamp color you want yet, but I will say set clear deadlines and be very firm with them. I've had stamp rallies before where there wasn't really clear deadlines, and so all over the place, I was kind of say, I guess, like people wouldn't turn in things on time. Sure, if you have like a mutual who you know is usually on time, we'll ask like, hey, something got in the way, can I extend? I usually will give them an extension because I know they get things done. Usually with newer people, I like having firm deadlines. So when you are hosting a stamp rally, you are responsible to create the stamp cards, ads, and the table signs as well. Now you can discuss in the group chat being like, oh, I'm not good at graphic design, can someone else design it for me? But I enjoy the process, so I like doing it myself. But yeah, you can also just use the stamp card as a table sign. I have had people question what that was for, so usually a table sign is better than just having the stamp card visible. Sometimes having both visible is a great idea too. And then ads for social media is very important. Usually someone will post it, tag everyone, and everyone else will repost it. But it's just there to get the word out, to get people interested, knowing that there is a stamp rally. And yeah, and then make sure everyone has a stamp and knows where to get it. You can also do stickers. No need for actual stamps and stuff like that. You can do stickers. It's easy and cheaper because you don't have to buy ink and stuff. So yeah, there are many ways. Sometimes if someone didn't print enough stickers or ran out of ink and stuff like that, you can hand draw it into and get a unique card that way. You as the host will have to print the stamp cards yourself or order them and then collect the payment later. I did both, doing it myself and printing it. With printing it, you are kind of limited to specific volumes of cards, but that's fine. Better have too many than too little. Printing it yourself, it just takes a lot of time, and you have to calculate the costs based on that. So it's kind of more of a hassle. I do print the table ads myself, but print the stamp cards at GotPrint, so that has been working out for me. So there are two types of prizes that we've talked about. There's a collaborative one, which is everyone works together on one thing, like a print. I've done a keychain before. I've seen tote bags. So there are lots of really cool ideas that you can do as a collaborative. That being said, it takes a lot of planning and a lot of planning in advance for you to get manufacturing done and all of that and have everyone's files in on time and stuff like that. So although collaborative pieces are really cool, it does take a lot of effort, and most of the times for collaborative pieces there will be a higher purchase or higher condition, like a purchase instead of tip or purchase, follow or purchase kind of situation. The second one, there is individual prizes, which everyone makes their own prize. It can be a print, it can be a sticker, it can be a bookmark, anything that you really would want to make, and you just drop off the prizes at our host's table, and they will make a little prize pack with everyone's stuff once the stamp rally is done or finished. Dropping off all the files, I would recommend creating a Google folder, labeling it clearly as stamp design, prize design, and if you're hosting multiple stamp rallies, also name it based on that. If you're not planning on doing a table or social media ad, you don't really need everyone's files. I just like doing these things to show off what is going to be at the stamp or with the stamp rally, so that's why I asked for that. I usually ping everyone 1 week before everything's due and then the day before everything is due, just to keep everyone reminded, hey, deadline is coming up, we are going to have files due, so please have everything ready. For collecting payment, I usually say, hey, you can pay me by the end of the con. Make a checklist on the Discord group chat or server where you write the person's name and then either an X if they haven't paid and a check if they have, and then just update that list as people pay you, just to keep in mind who has paid you and who has not. If it's been a week after the con and they have not paid you, ask the person privately if they have sent you the payment or if they can send you the payment. If they don't respond to anything or just ignore you, just mark them down on like a list of people that have not paid you for stuff, and just don't do a stamp rally with them in the future, because that's happened to me before where I have messaged people being like, hey, you didn't pay me, and then they never got back, and then you're out the money for stamp cards. So yeah. When people are paying, ask them to include their artist name in like the comments or something like that, because a lot of times if you do Venmo or Zelle, it is the actual person's name, so having the artist name helps you be able to check off if you got the payment. Now, when you're at the con, so you're going to communicate with everyone that either everyone's going to come to your table to drop off the items and pick up their stuff, or you're going to walk around dropping off everything and pick up their items. So it just depends. Make sure that if you're hosting a stamp rally, that you have little bags so that you can package up the little prize packs. I would say maybe do 10, like in 10 intervals, or number of 10 intervals, just because packing to all of them at once, then you might not give out all the prize packs, so you would have to go in and take them all apart again. So I would say doing 10 to 15, and then once you realize you only have 2 or 3, you'll make more. I usually like keeping a designated area to stamp rally stuff so that it's easier to find things, but again, it gets hectic, chaotic in Artist Alley. You have a lot of stuff, so yeah, I understand if you don't have a separate area. Make sure that everyone gave you a prize or their prizes. You can sometimes have someone forget, and then just message them being like, hey, I don't have your prizes, can you drop them off? And most of the time they do. So yeah, or you'll send someone yourself to pick it up. And what I usually do as like a thing for the artist memory, I give each artist one prize pack. So what I've been doing recently is I have a set amount of prizes to give out, like 30. But then I'll ask everyone to make, for example, if the stamp rally has 6 people, I ask everyone to make 36 prizes so that everyone gets a little prize themselves. During the con, I would say keep in communication with everyone. This is very important. If someone's running out of stamp cards, has too many stamp cards, you can communicate being like, hey, I will send stamp cards over to this person. It also helps with keeping track of how many prizes you've given out. So I like doing day by day prizes. So like if we have 30, 15 one day, 15 the other, or 20 one day and then 10 the other, because usually Sundays are less busy. So keeping people updated, being like, hey, we only have like 2 more prizes, just so that they can let their customers know, hey, there are only like this many prizes left. If you want to continue the stamp rally, then you can, but if you don't, totally understandable, right? At the end of the con, if there are any leftover prizes, go and hand them back to the artists. They can sell them, keep them, give them out, whatever they want to. Unless it's like a group prize, a collaborative piece. If one of the artists is against people selling their art, obviously don't. I have had people say like, hey, can we not sell this? Just give them out to friends and family kind of thing. But I've also had like people be okay with their art being sold at your booth. So yeah, it depends. If there are any leftover stamp cards, you can just toss them or keep them, whatever you want. But yeah, I like going around to every artist and collecting their stamp too. Once you're home after the con, you can message in the group chat, thanking everyone for joining. And if a majority of them have not paid yet, just remind them, hey, once you have the time, can you please pay me back? And yeah, that's basically it for hosting or joining a stamp rally. If you're joining a stamp rally, it's not this much work. You're just creating the files, voting, and dropping off the files and creating the prizes. So it's not that much work, but hosting is much, much more work. But yeah, I hope this gives you more insight on what to do for stamp rallies if you want to host one. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!